Hi, it's Jessie. Today I'm drinking elderberry wine tea from Adagio Teas. It's December, so I'm officially into my advent calendar teas, which is so exciting. Review for any teas that I have reviews for will be in the description. Okay. So I'm here today with my TBR for WoTathon. If you haven't seen my announcement yet, check it out here. I hope to see many people participating. Info will be included in the description as well if you just want to get to the quick nitty-gritty for it. Now, this is my TBR or to be read list, and I will definitely not be reading every book on this list. I have a book for every prompt just because it's fun to give more recommendations of books for you to read maybe, but we'll see how many I actually end up reading. And then stick around to the end to hear what was chosen as the group book and what prompts that will fit. Tiny spoiler warning here. The prompts are based on the locations that characters visit in The Eye of the World. If you don't want to know what those locations are, there is a spoiler-free prompt list in the description that you can check out just to get the prompts. And you can also skip to the end to see what the group book is because I will be including those prompts without spoilers. The lighting's gonna change drastically throughout this video because there's like, it's that blue sky, light, fluffy cloud kind of day, which means the sun comes in and out. That's fun. All right, let's get to what books I am thinking about for each of these prompts. So first is Emond's Field, which is a book with a small town or pastoral setting. My book for this will be Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe by Fanny Flagg. I'm actually not sure what the actual plot of this book is, but I think it's about lesbians working in a cafe in a small town. I don't know. It's been highly recommended by Emma over on Drinking by My Shelf, so I'm gonna take her recommendation for it. Next, for Taryn Ferry, a book featuring morally great characters. I'm gonna read Nightshine by Tessa Gratton. The catch for this book, the quick blurb for it is: an orphan girl must face untold danger and an ancient evil to save her kingdom's prince in the lush romantic fantasy perfect for fans of Girl of Paper and Fire and Tess of the Road. The moral ambiguity here comes specifically with the one character, the villain of the book, the ancient evil referred to in the synopsis there, who is the sorceress who eats girls. And she might not be quite as evil as everybody thinks. Moving into Barrelon, it's read a book featuring prophecy. The book I have here is Red Shirts by John Scalzi. This is kind of a parody sci-fi about a man that's hired for a crew on a spaceship and is given a red uniform. And then he starts to see some disturbing trends about the people that wear red. I think this is kind of stretching the prophecy thing here a little bit, but I mean, wearing a red shirt in a sci-fi is as good as prophecy, right? Next in Shadar Logoth is a book about a fallen society. I want to read Nama by Sarah Blake for this. This is about one of the wives of Noah, the ark guy from the Bible. I figured that the literal decimation of the entire world via holy wrath kind of counts as a fallen society here. So when the party splits, I'll be following Egwene and Perrin. So first, for the Tinkers, read a book featuring romance. I want to read Bingo Love here, which is a cute graphic novel about these little old ladies that meet and fall in love in the bingo parlor. Then for the Steading, read a book with plants on the cover or in the title. This is the only book I own physically on this list, but Legacy of Secrets by Elizabeth Adler. Okay, let's be real here. I bought this a long time ago from a used bookstore and I never read it, and I have absolutely no idea now what it's about, what drew me to it. But it's got pretty flowers on the cover, And that's the main point here, right? I have no idea. And then White Cloaks, read a book with a white cover. For this I want to read Freshwater by Akweke Emeze. This is about a young Nigerian woman who has these other beings living inside her. And then she moves to America and features trauma, and that brings those other beings more to the surface in her mind. It sounds really creepy and dark and haunting, but also really good. And back reunited with the full party, we get to Camelin, which is a book featuring a woman in power. For this, I want to read the notorious RBG, Life and Times of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. This is a nonfiction about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and she's a woman in power if there ever was one. Honestly, this prompt is a great place for a nonfiction book, and I really, really hope a lot of people decide to go that route with it. For the ways, read a book featuring horror. I want to read His Hideous Heart, which is edited by Dahlia Adler. This is a short story collection of Edgar Allan Poe retellings. Given Edgar Allan Poe's brand of horror is not super scary, I'm assuming the retellings also will be on the lighter side of horror, but who knows, maybe they'll make them even darker. But it's a story collection I've been wanting to read for quite a while now. For Fall Dara, read an Eastern-based fantasy. I want to read The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Niveau. This is, I think, about a young woman who is in an arranged political-based marriage, and she starts to figure out how to use her own power in this kind of unfamiliar place, I think. For The Blight, you're supposed to read a book in a place you don't normally read, so this doesn't have to be a specific book. I'll probably end up just like curling up in my closet or something and reading, because there aren't many places in my apartment I don't normally read. For this one, I'll probably either do what I do for Fall Dara and curl up in there, what I do for Malkiar, or I might use the group book for this one. And speaking of, let's move on to Malkiar, which is a book featuring a revenge story. And for this, I want to read To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. This is a Little Mermaid retelling in which the mermaid actually wants to kill the prince, not fall in love with him. And the revenge here, I think, is she wants to eventually get back to the water to get revenge on the sea witch that forced her to be on land, I think. And finally, in the Greenman's Garden, read a book based on fairy tale of folklore. And the book I'm putting on my list for this is Disfigured: On Fairy Tales, Disability, and Making Space by Amanda Leduc. This is an essay collection all about disability representation in fairy tales and how most fairy tales do not portray disability in a good or kind or proper light. So like I said, this TBR, I'm probably not going to read all of them. More realistically, my TBR is actually just Fried Green Tomatoes, Ma, Legacy of Secrets, Notorious RBG, His Hideous Heart, Empress of Salt and Sorrow, and To Kill a Kingdom. With those 7 books, I'll be able to overlap them and fulfill all of the prompts with only half the number of books. Like I said in my announcement, if you want to go check that out, you can combine prompts as long as they are adjacent to each other. And the real requirement is just that you read 3 books, one from the start, one at the end, and one in the middle. And so the 3 I actually have to read are Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe for the first prompt, To Kill a Kingdom for a final prompt, and one of those middle books. And the middle book, I don't know, might be the group book. Let's get into the group book. The group that won the poll was Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I'm actually super excited for this. One of my big things with doing the group book was I wanted something accessible, and this is, one, a standalone fantasy, so you're not committing to a series. 2, it's been out for a while, so most libraries are probably going to have it. And 3, you can get the ebook for free on Brandon Sanderson's website. Now, I believe it's like an older, unedited version, so it might not be the same one, so you might want to get the actual published version, but if you're in a pinch, there's no reason you can't get access to Warbreaker. If you don't know, this book is about, oh gosh, Sanderson puts too many plots in his books. Warbreaker is about these 2 girls from one kingdom. One of them has been trained her whole life to marry the ruler called the God King of another kingdom. And at the last minute, the father decides he can't send his favorite daughter to do that and sends the other one. And so it's her figuring things out. It's the older sister wanting to go rescue her. And it's also got some perspectives from the gods themselves, some of which might not entirely understand or believe their own religion. So Warbreaker very easily fits prompts 2 and 5, so 2 featuring morally gray character and 5 featuring women in power. On the main pathway. It would also fit prompt A for the second path, which is a book featuring romance. And of course you could use it for prompt 8, read a book where you normally wouldn't. And different editions, such as the UK one, might fit some of the cover-based prompts. Like I know the UK is a white cover, so that would fit one of the prompts in path 2 again. And that's it for me. Remember to use the hashtag WoTathon in any posts you make on any social media about this. I have been following them and checking them, so I hope I see some things there. Share this or the announcement video with your friends if you're trying to get more people involved. I'm really excited about this, and I'm really hoping to see some great engagement on this. And down below in the comments, let me know what your TBR is. If you've made a video or an Instagram post or something already, go ahead and link it. But if you just are following along and have picked out some books to read, let me know below. What are you planning to read? And how excited are you to read Warbreaker? If it's your first time or how many times have I read Warbreaker now? Anyway, I'm very excited to read Warbreaker again. It's been a couple of years. So I'm really excited for this, like I said, 100,000 times now, and I hope everybody enjoys doing this readathon with us. Okay, bye.